What would you do if your 5-year-old son woke up one morning claiming he had betrayed Jesus Christ? And what if he could describe the night in Jerusalem with chilling accuracy? In the depths of the Vatican's secret archives, there lies a file that has perplexed theologians and historians for decades. A case that challenges our understanding of faith, memory, and the very nature of human consciousness. It all began on a crisp autumn morning in 2018, in the quiet town of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. The air was thick with the scent of fallen leaves and the promise of winter, as the first rays of sunlight crept over the Lehigh Valley. Sarah and Michael Thompson were preparing breakfast for their son, Ethan, when they heard an unusual commotion from his room. As they rushed upstairs, they found the boy sitting upright in his bed, his eyes wide with an expression they had never seen before. "I remember now," Ethan whispered, his voice trembling. "I remember what I did to him." At first, Sarah and Michael assumed their son had experienced a vivid nightmare. But as Ethan began to speak, they realized this was something far more extraordinary and unsettling. Over the next few hours, Ethan recounted in vivid detail memories of a life he claimed to have lived nearly 2,000 years ago. He spoke of dusty streets in ancient Jerusalem, of the scent of olive oil and incense, and of a man whose teachings had captivated thousands. But it was not just the setting that Ethan described with uncanny precision. He spoke of events, of conversations, and of a betrayal that would change the course of history. "I was there," Ethan said, his young face contorted with anguish. "I was the one who betrayed him. I led them to the garden." Sarah and Michael exchanged worried glances. How could their son, raised in a secular household with little exposure to religious teachings, suddenly possess such detailed knowledge of biblical events? As the days passed, Ethan's recollections became more specific, more haunting. He described the weight of the 30 pieces of silver in his hands, the hushed whispers of conspiracy, and the moment when he approached Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. "I kissed him on the cheek," Ethan said, tears welling in his eyes. "That was the signal. And then they took him away." The Thompsons, unsure of how to handle this situation, sought help from local experts. They consulted child psychologists, religious scholars, and even skeptics who specialized in debunking paranormal claims. Yet none could fully explain Ethan's sudden and detailed recollections. Dr. Elizabeth Hartley, a renowned child psychologist, spent several sessions with Ethan. "In my 30 years of practice, I've never encountered a case quite like this," she admitted. "Ethan's memories are not just vivid, they're consistent and historically accurate in ways that go beyond what a child his age should know." As news of Ethan's claims spread, the family found themselves at the center of a media storm. Religious groups flocked to their home, some hailing Ethan as a miracle, others denouncing him as a fraud or a vessel for dark forces. But it was what happened next that truly shocked the world. During a televised interview, Ethan was shown a collection of ancient artifacts from the time of Jesus. Without hesitation, he pointed to a small clay oil lamp, unremarkable among the other items. "That was mine," he said softly. "I used it that night to light the way." Archaeologists were stunned. The lamp, recently excavated from a site near Jerusalem, had never been publicly displayed. Its provenance matched the exact period Ethan claimed to remember. How could a 5-year-old boy from Pennsylvania recognize an obscure artifact from 1st century Judea? If you're as baffled as we are, subscribe now and comment with your theory. What could explain Ethan's impossible knowledge? As the controversy grew, so did the scrutiny. Historians pored over Ethan's statements, comparing them to known historical records and archaeological findings. Time and again, they found his recollections to be eerily accurate, often providing details that aligned with recent discoveries not yet published in mainstream sources. Dr. Jonathan Weiss, a professor of religious studies at Harvard University, became particularly intrigued by Ethan's case. "What fascinates me," he explained, "is not just the biblical knowledge, which could potentially be explained by exposure to religious media or stories. It's the cultural and historical details that Ethan provides, aspects of daily life in 1st century Jerusalem that we've only recently begun to understand through archaeological evidence." One such detail was Ethan's description of the type of coin used for the infamous 30 pieces of silver. He insisted they were Tyrian shekels, a specific type of silver coin that modern scholarship has indeed identified as the most likely currency used for temple transactions in Jerusalem at that time. As months passed, Ethan's recollections began to take a toll on the young boy. He suffered from nightmares and bouts of inexplicable guilt. His parents, concerned for his well-being, sought to shield him from the growing media attention and the constant barrage of questions from researchers and religious figures alike. Yet Ethan's story continued to captivate the public imagination. It reignited age-old debates about the nature of consciousness, the possibility of reincarnation, and the historical accuracy of religious texts. Some saw Ethan as proof of the divine, a modern-day miracle that validated their faith. Others viewed his case as a fascinating psychological phenomenon, perhaps an extreme form of cryptomnesia or false memory syndrome. Skeptics argued that the entire situation was an elaborate hoax, though they struggled to explain how a young child could maintain such a consistent and historically accurate narrative. The scientific community, too, was divided. Neuroscientists proposed theories ranging from genetic memory to quantum consciousness, while others insisted that there must be a more mundane explanation that had yet to be uncovered. As the years passed, Ethan's case became the subject of countless studies, documentaries, and books. The young boy grew into a teenager, then a young man, his early recollections fading but never entirely disappearing. Now, as Ethan approaches his 18th birthday, he has agreed to participate in a groundbreaking study using advanced neuroimaging techniques. Researchers hope to map his brain activity as he recalls his alleged past life memories, comparing the patterns to those of both fabricated and genuine recollections. Dr. Samantha Chen, the lead researcher on the project, explains the significance. This study could potentially revolutionize our understanding of memory, consciousness, and even the concept of self. Regardless of whether Ethan's memories are genuine past life experiences or some as yet unexplained psychological phenomenon, the insights we gain could have far-reaching implications for neuroscience, psychology, and philosophy. As we stand on the brink of this new phase in Ethan's extraordinary journey, one question remains at the forefront of everyone's mind. What if his memories are real? What would it mean for our understanding of history, of faith, and of the human soul? The case of Ethan Thompson, the boy who claims to remember betraying Jesus, continues to challenge our perceptions and beliefs. It reminds us that despite our technological advancements and scientific progress, there are still mysteries in this world that defy easy explanation. In the end, perhaps the true value of Ethan's story lies not in proving or disproving his claims, but in the questions it forces us to ask ourselves about the nature of memory, the limits of human consciousness, and the possibility that there might be more to our existence than we can currently comprehend. As we conclude this extraordinary tale, we invite you to reflect on its implications. What do you believe? Could Ethan's memories be genuine, or is there another explanation we haven't considered? Subscribe to our channel and share your thoughts in the comments below. Join the conversation about one of the most perplexing cases of our time, the boy who remembers betraying Jesus. In the archives of the Vatican, in the laboratories of neuroscientists, and in the minds of millions around the world, Ethan's story continues to resonate. It serves as a reminder that in the vast tapestry of human experience, there are threads that still elude our understanding, mysteries that challenge us to look beyond the boundaries of what we think we know.